My turn. Full disclosure, I am monetizing this video because Angela asked if I was to use a photo, which I thought would be a fun idea, that I do monetize it, just to emphasize the irony of it all. Anyway, discussing the local drama of late on the internet. Where to begin? Well, I'm going to tell you where I'm not going to begin, and that is by naming names and going into the people, because a lot of the things that have been happening is basically a lot of tit for tat, people attacking each other, and that is detracting from the issues, the important issues that people are trying to get across, because everybody is just worried about defending their sacred idols on all sides, and it obscures the point. Okay, I guess the first thing we should address is the whole idea of the hashtag GOTHISNOTKILLSTAR and where it came from. I'm where it came from. I'm going to link an article that I wrote talking about it, as well as another article pertaining to it a bit too, that I wrote as well from the Belfry Network in the comments. And I'm also going to link another article I wrote way back in 2016, which kind of proves that this stuff's been brewing for a very long time. Now, the thing is, it hasn't been brewing on YouTube as such. There have been little comments here and there, people snipping at each other on various other social media platforms like Twitter and Instagram. There's a little bit on Reddit. I've seen stuff said on lolcows. I don't post there, I just lurk. That site's pretty bad for many things, but people talk. This is an issue people have been talking about, and that issue is accountability of YouTubers who have made it big and are giving a bit of a false impression of what goth is all about. Either because they're not necessarily goth themselves and a bit clueless, or they have acquired their following and they're not really doing anything positive with it. It feels like they're just milking it for every dollar it's worth, and their channels have devolved into endless hauls. To put it bluntly, with great goth comes great responsibility. You've got an audience. You can really use it to help the goth subculture instead of milking it for every dollar you can. So that's where we lead into new people that have begun to say things like, I can't afford to be goth. They're saying this because they're seeing all these hauls, all these people modelling clothes from brands like Killstar, Punk Rave, whatever. It doesn't really matter. The main reason why the hashtag was hashtag GOTHISNOTKILLSTAR is because Killstar seems to be the most prolific, especially at this form of advertising. And they see people with the great hauls that they're not actually buying themselves, they're being effectively donated to in a sponsorship deal or something, and they think that they have to spend a lot of money to be goth, and that's complete crap. You do not need to spend money to do it. It's pretty much be a fan of the music, participate in the subculture, and that's pretty much it. If you're participating in the subculture and you hate the music, you're not going to last very long. The fashion and stuff you tend to develop when you're in anyway. I mean, there are people that are into darker styles of fashion, and yeah, good for them. You can wear what you like. I mean, there is nothing wrong with wearing Killstar or whatever if you are a goth, or if you're not. It doesn't matter, but it doesn't make you more goth. I mean, one comment that I saw on Reddit was from someone that said, I didn't spend all this money to not be goth. Excuse me? That is not how it bloody works. You do not get to buy a goth card. You have to earn it. You do not buy respect, you earn respect. If you want to buy credibility in the goth subculture, you're looking for the wrong place. Go participate in Lolita or something where the whole emphasis is on fashion. Because in the goth subculture, you can't buy credibility. You have to earn it. And you earn it by participating in the subculture, socializing with people. Quite often, how goth you think you are is not how goth everyone else sees you as. So in a way, you're not really goth until most people think you are. But by that point, you don't really care. And goth isn't this whole arms wide open home of all the outcasts that so many people think it is. No. It's a music subculture, just like any other music subculture. We share a lot of aspects with other things, with aesthetics and fashion. The one thing that defines goth as goth is the music. That is the core. It isn't just the music. There is more to it, but it's a complete package where that is part of the package. You don't get to be a metalhead if you're not a fan of metal. So why do people think they can be goth without being a fan of goth music? Now, are sponsorships necessarily bad? Not necessarily, but it depends what you do with them. If you let your channel devolve into nothing but hauls, yeah, it's bad. Because you're only showing a tiny little aspect of everything. But if you're using sponsored content and mixing other things in, now not every video is going to get thousands of likes, but you'll at least gain some credibility with the goth community, instead of just pandering to the fringe people on the outside who may only be in it for a short time, then they're gone in a couple of years, if that. Now, one thing I've seen on a lot of the banter about the controversies of late is people saying, oh, but they're just jealous. No. Nobody's jealous. To be honest, we don't want that stuff. I mean, in my case, it probably wouldn't even fit me. I mean, if I was to be offered a sponsorship, I say, I don't know, Alchemy Gothic for jewelry, yeah, I'd probably go for that. But I wouldn't base all my content around it, even if it means losing some viewers because of it. But we're not jealous. A lot of us don't care about sponsorship, or especially from a company like Killstar. So that argument doesn't fly. You know, here's the main problem I see. People find it really hard to put themselves in other people's minds, or in their shoes, so to speak. You know, I'm trying to understand why a young person might see all this stuff and think, goth is too expensive for me. And we have to go and tell them, no, it's not, and explain why, and undo the damage. where and at the same time, I'm also trying to get inside the YouTubers' heads to work out why they're doing it. And the only excuse I can think is they're doing it for the money, which is fine. By all means, make a living, but have some integrity. You've got this supporter base. Use it. Do some good. And speaking of all this stuff, the whole we should all get along crap. No, humans do not work like that. I don't have to like every person. Every person doesn't have to like me. In fact, if I try to please everybody, in the end, I'm probably going to end up failing everybody. So I guess you got to kind of pick your sides. But do you pick the side of the most people that don't really matter to the subculture because they're not going to stick around? Or do you pick the side of the people that count? The people that are going to be here in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, 20 years' time. The people that are growing the subculture in their local scenes, trying to expand things, bring new people in. Not just let them scratch the surface and say that's it, and they think, well, goth's just a fashion, because it's not. Goth is not a costume. Ultimately, you have to make goth yours. If you want to earn respect in the subculture, you have to own it. Putting on a costume is not enough. Buying a pile of vinyl records and not knowing the music is not enough. Hell, quoting endless Wikipedia articles is not enough. Now, when I get into a conversation about goth and the subculture and the music and even to the fashion to some extent, I can just rattle stuff off the top of my head because I know it, I've learned it, I've become involved with it. And that is one reason why people defend goth, and that is another article I'm going to have to link that I wrote called Why Defend Goth, to try and explain to people why we do it and why we get so mad. Why we get so frustrated when we see all this misinformation out there. Ultimately, not many people are going to watch my videos. I'm 41 years old, I'm balding, I'm fat, I'm a man, I'm a white guy. I'm not exactly primetime YouTube goth material. I have a face for radio, and that's fine. So I tend to write articles, and I've been on a couple of podcasts and stuff. I have done a couple of guest spots on some live streams, which has been fun. But the emphasis tends to be more on what I know, not on how I look. And for YouTube, how you look seems to be extremely important. So this means that I will never gain that following to be able to teach people. So I've decided instead that I'm going to try and encourage and influence people that do have that following, to try and inspire them to seize the day, seize the goth. Carpe nocturne, seize the night. That's probably wrong, but who cares? You know, do something. Do something different. I made a video of a record haul recently. It's got bugger all views, but I made it anyway, because why not? And just for everyone out there, no matter what your experience level is, you know, the internet has a problem of overanalyzing goth way too much. People sit there picking it apart, and I know it's kind of hypocritical as I write articles that kind of do the same thing, but at the same time I try and temper it with real life experience. As I said, goth is a subculture, it is social, it is meant to be experienced. If you're just sitting in a corner doing nothing and analysing it, you can only learn so much by reading various goth Bibles and goth encyclopedias and all that crap. It's only going to get you so far. In the end, you have to reach out and grab it. Carpe nocturne, seize the night. Go somewhere. Go to a meetup. Go to a club. Go have coffee with some friends. Just get off the net. Do something. Please.